Welcome to ASMR of Misty drinking a Red Bull. Now, welcome to the main event, the top 10 Halloween anime to watch for a great hosting event. My name is Misty / Chronexia. Ladies, put on your sexy costumes. Bros, grab a leftover candy you couldn't give out to kids and let us binge some anime together. Let's make mistakes. Now, I need to preface this before we start. Usually, Halloween is synonym of horror, but it isn't really what I'm going for here. I mean, yes, there's going to be some spooky entries, but I aim to capture the Halloween spirit more than just being scary. If you want the proper spooks, I made a list earlier this month purely about that, so check that one out. Otherwise, I'm getting more for stuff like Soul Eater. Very Halloweenish in spirit, but not especially scary. It'll make sense if you stick around. Let's go! Here's another sip just for you.
村の付近では今でも多くの行方不明者が出て、現代の神隠しなどと呼ばれていますが。
Number 10, The Lost Village. Arguably a very yikes entry to bring up, but I never had the opportunity to talk about it in the past, so at the very least, if you're a regular on my channel, this will be some new blood. Mayoiga is probably one of the purest definition of an acquired taste. While the entire show seems to be portrayed as a serious psychological drama horror mystery, one of its other tag is also comedy. But not in the comical sense you're used to. This is the director poking fun at the horror trope with some B-rated content. It's all on purpose. That being said, so many people take it at face value and it definitely loses its charm when you see it on that angle. The story is about a group of students who stumble on an abandoned village during the school trip and they M. Night Shyamalan the whole thing. Number 9, Yami Shibai. Speaking of acquired taste, let me bring up Yami Shibai. It currently released its 7th season and it is just more of the same. When the first season came out, it had a certain charm. Now we're up to 90 plus episodes worth of campfire horror stories. It's a case of either you like them or you don't, but depending on your time investment or what thrill you seek during Halloween, these might be worth putting on the screen. Of course, certain stories are more captivating than most, but if you generally enjoy listening to creepypasta, this is essentially the same formula with very basic animation on top and, obviously subtitles to read, just to spice up the mood.
何言ってんだよ。帰ってきたじゃないか。
Number 8, Occult Academy. Occult Academy is a mixed bag. You got sci-fi, supernatural events, time travel, aliens, comedy, mystery, and even investigation. Now, let me piece all of these tags together into a story. So the plot begins in the year 2012, where the world has been invaded by aliens, as foretold by the Maya calendar. Remember when that was a thing? Nah, don't lie. I know you were planning for the apocalypse back then too. This anime was made in 2010, so hindsight is 2020. But anyway, aliens take over and time travelers go back to the year 1999 to try and change the course of action in a way that won't lead to the world's destruction. Their only hint is to destroy the Nostradamus key. Except it's not a key, it could be any object. So our main character manages to convince the daughter of the school's headmaster to help out in searching for said key. If you like the enigmas offered a la flavored of Steins Gate or Ghost Sick, this is something you might enjoy as well. Number 7, Jitsu Watashiwa. This has Halloween spirit written all over it. Jitsu Watashiwa is a story about Asahi, a guy who has a terrible poker face and is a terrible liar, add to that. One day, he spots the girl he has a crush on alone in the classroom, and she mistakenly revealed that she's a vampire. According to her father's rule, if anyone figures out her secret identity, she must resign from the school. Since Asahi doesn't want her to leave, because again, crush, he has to keep the secret because of Exhibit Hey, the poker face thing. Then the story takes an additional twist with a devil, president, and a secret alien. The whole thing is a harem-like rom-com. It's very easy to digest. Not particularly a masterpiece, but the bright and cheerful ambience with the occasional eye candy gives you just the perfect treat for this tricky Halloween. That's the most corny thing I said today. So far. Number 6, welcome to the Demon School, Iruma-kun. I did talk about this anime in my last top 10 video, so bringing it back so promptly might feel like a wasted entry, but this season, it's the show that gives me the most candies. Metaphorically, the show only has a handful of episodes out at the moment, so it's not like you can actually binge the entire thing, unless you're watching the anime in the future. In that case, hindsight is, again, 2020. But if you do, you can expect a demon school and a human who has been sold off to try and keep his identity a secret. The comedy is a bit lowbrow, but still very enchanting and will give you a few chuckles. It's very colorful and not at all scary, so if, like my wife, you like to pretend you're too much of a wuss but still want that Halloween spirit, this show's got your name on it. Number 5, Machikado Masuku. Machikado Masuku is such a dark horse. It's the perfect definition of don't judge a book by its cover. Yes, on the surface, it is a magical girl anime that's turned into a slice of life. But it is one like no other before. Let me bring up what makes it so much better than your other run-of-the-mill attempts. The story begins with Yuko, a girl who has demon horns and a tail. Turns out she's from a family that has been banished and has to live poor and destitute by their opposite clan, the Magical Girls. One day, while going to school, Yuko almost gets run over, but she's saved by Momo, a girl who's the current Magical Girl. Now, Yuko must kill her to restore her family's honor, but she's severely outclassed by Momo's power. And so Momo takes pity on her and decides to train her. The comedy and the synergy builds upon itself for 12 episodes and give you a really surprising experience altogether. It's cute, so again, if you want Halloween spirit without the horror, highly consider this one well worth a shot. Number 4, Kubikiri Cycle. Time for a more serious entry. If you came for the thumbnail, it's this one. Kubikiri Cycle is an amazing anime I found out recently and just had to gush about. First of all, the original light novel is based on one that was written by Nisio Isin. If that name doesn't ring a bell, it should. He's the guy who wrote the entire Monogatari franchise and so many more classics. The Kubikiri Cycle is part of the Zaragoto series. I'll spare you the mumbo jumbo. You can watch it as it is, but it's part of a bigger universe in terms of books. The story is about a girl with a mysterious disease who's locked up on an island. To keep herself entertained, she invites over a group of fellow geniuses to visit her, and during one night, one of the guests is murdered. They must try to find a culprit before the events begin unraveling even more. Closed space, murder mystery type. If you like Perfect Insider, this is like a copy-paste setup, but just done way more masterfully. I cannot recommend it enough. It's so good. Number 3, Furry Blockade Battlefront. Kekai Sensen is a 2 seasons long story that unraveled in New York. The city has been confined to a microcosm, like a tiny bubble, where another dimension connected itself to the city and now various monsters live together in society, all of which is overseen by Libra, an organization that tries to keep things in order. One day, Leonardo walks into the city as an aspiring photographer and tries to find a solution to restore his sister's sight. Some events happen, and that leads to him joining the Libra organization. It's a bite more than you can chew situation. Lots of action, battle, supernatural powers, you got vampire, multiple demons, and what have you. Perfect for a kick-ass and eventful Halloween session. Also, the soundtrack is mad good. Bump of a Chicken, and Unison Square Garden. Come on, that's straight fire and you know it. Number 2, Ushio to Tora. Ushio and Tora is a reboot they did from an OVA made in the 90s. It's your run-of-the-mill good shonen with action, adventure, comedy, and demons, so again, that's my Halloween angle. The story is about a middle school student named Ushio who finds a demon locked up in the basement of his father's temple. The demon's name, obviously, is Tora. He tried to coerce Ushio to release him, and eventually, I mean, you can guess what happens, otherwise there wouldn't be any story to tell. The base comparison I could give you is How to Train Your Dragon. It's not really an anime, but this show is all about bonding between Ushio and the beast Tora and how they can work together to stop a bigger crisis from happening. That's all I'm giving you. Try it out. It's really easy to underestimate, but it's actually quite good. And finally, the number 1. That's spelled J-U-A-N. Demon Slayer. I don't think I have too many praises to sing about Demon Slayer. If you're somewhat familiar with anime, this year, this title has been placed on the lips of everyone. Demon Slayer is a story about Tanjiro, a kid whose whole family has been slaughtered, and his sister got turned into a demon. Now traveling with her, he searches for a way to restore her to her past self. The show shines on every front. The battles got that think outside of the box feel and makes them captivating to watch. It's well paced and the show looks absolutely stunning visually. The soundtrack is pretty dope too. And well, it's about killing demons, so yeah, it fits the Halloween spirit pretty well, I'd say. If you've been needing some convincing to finally pick it up, here's my seal of approval. Do dive in. I haven't heard of anyone who watched the whole thing and said they hated it. That should be all of the approval you need for this one. This should give you about 10 different titles to tackle during this holiday, so even if you don't celebrate Halloween, you can still enjoy some very decent anime. If you have already seen all of these entries, or would want some actual spooks, I recommend you try out my other top 10, notably the last horror one I did. It had a pretty neat selection, or don't, and be forever cursed with the lolly trick or treating your pants. But I wouldn't risk it. Thanks for watching and come back next week, or I'll come get you. I will, I know where you live, John. I'll make this personal, I swear. Now yes, I do realize this threat kind of fell on deaf ear for a bunch of you, but right now there's a John in New Mexico that's shitting his pants so hard. And you know what? I take what I can. See you next time. Peace!
Hard times, I've been on the wrong side, I've been ashamed. So many memories, you know I'd like to change.